So today I'm going to be sharing with you what could be the greatest and most profitable indicator I have ever used in my 7 years of experience trading the Forex market. And I'm going to share this with you for the very first time here on our channel, an indicator that not only shows you where to enter your trades, but also allows you to capitalize at least 20 pips in profits. And I'm going to share this with you right here, right now. So let's go in, let's get started. All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Paul, and thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And, like I said, I am really excited to do this with you guys because this is the very first time that we are going to be talking about and introducing this particular indicator here on my channel. And this obviously won't be the first, or excuse me, this won't be the last video that we will do. We will definitely do a lot of follow-ups and live sessions focusing on this indicator because of how powerful this indicator really is. And I'm going to share with you as much information possible so that way, even as a beginner trader, you'll be able to grasp the concept of this and use this to your advantage to make money very, very quickly, but also easily and efficiently with the parameters that are provided by this indicator, okay? Now, the reason why this is the first time we're doing this is because this is something that is new. This is something that I've only, acquired into my possession a couple of weeks ago. And, just like any new strategy that we talk about here on our channel, guys, or any new strategy or indicator in general, when you're trying something new for the first time in trading, it's important that you practice with it, all right? And I advise you to do the same thing if you're going to use this strategy or this indicator. Always practice, use a demo account, and just practice. Repetition makes perfect, guys, because that way you can understand how something works. And if you make any mistakes, if you're using a demo account, then you're not putting yourself at risk. So in my case, I wanted to understand how everything works, but also try to provide the simplest information possible so that way people can use this indicator right away and kind of have more of a better understanding as to how they could use this to their advantage. Now, the reason why I'm also saying that I'm only going to provide you with the bare minimum information needed is because there are so many ways that you can use this strategy, whether it be long-term, short-term, scalping, swing trader. There's so many ways that you can use this indicator. So it can be a little bit confusing once we go through it. So that's why I just want to keep things as simple as possible, especially for our beginner viewers who are, just learning about Forex for the very first time. So bear with me, guys. I'm going to share with you everything that you need to know so that way you can profit from this indicator, and stay tuned to the end because I'm also going to share with you exactly how you can get your hands on this indicator as well, all right? But before we do that, a couple of things to quickly go over, guys. First and foremost, if you are new to the channel, if you're new to the channel, or if you haven't already, be sure that you subscribe and turn on notifications because we are constantly posting new updates every single day, whether it be indicator discussions, strategy tutorials, live training sessions, or just anything trading related in terms of Forex trading and resources for beginners. We are posting new content every day. So that way, when we do go live with these new updates, you don't miss out. And again, we're going to be doing a lot more follow-up videos on this particular indicator, so you don't want to miss out on any of those as well, guys. So that way you can stay in the loop and get all the information firsthand. And of course, if you find today's video helpful, give us a thumbs up, guys. Like our videos, as we appreciate and love your support. And as we go along in this video too, if you do have any questions, I know sometimes, when you're learning something new, it can be a little bit confusing. You're definitely going to have some questions that you need answered. So please feel free to comment on this video. Let me know of your questions. You can also reach me directly at prestigebinary@gmail.com, and I'll be more than happy to reply and answer any of your questions, guys, okay? All right, now moving forward, when it comes to this indicator, what you definitely want to be using is TradingView, tradingview.com. I'll leave the link down below. This is a free charting solution, guys. You don't have to pay for it if you don't want to, and they have all the indicators possible so that way you can use not only this strategy, but also any other strategies that you might come across during your trading experience, all right? So we need TradingView, guys. We need a charting solution, and this is pretty much what it looks like when you're setting up a chart. When you're setting up a chart, you can have a visual of candlestick patterns, market structure. So granted, when beginners are looking at a charting solution like this, the next question that they're asking themselves is, okay, what's next? How do I use this chart to find trades? How do I know where to enter a trade? How do I know which direction am I going to enter this trade, right? How do I make money from these trades? And all these questions are going to pop into your head, and that is why indicators like the one I'm going to share with you right now are very, very powerful. All right, guys, so get ready, get started. Here it is. This is what's referred as the 20 pips and dip indicator, all right? So you can see that there is a lot going on with this indicator. So let me just clarify that everything that you see here on this indicator is nothing that I have manually put to this chart, okay? This is all done by the indicator itself. And because of all this information, you see we have, various indicators for buys and sell positions. We have red and green horizontal lines, and those actually represent support and resistance lines. There are low highs, there are lower highs and higher lows and higher highs and higher lows. There's so many things happening that this is what I mean by this indicator can be used in various ways. But like I said, for this video, I'm going to share with you the simplest methods possible so that way you can understand how this strategy works, but also use it effectively to make money and capitalize 20 pips profits at least. All right. So first off, we want to make sure that we have a targeted asset. In this case, we're looking at the US dollar CHF. And the next rule, what we want to make sure is that we're looking at this from an hour time frame. Okay, guys, very, very important that we're looking at this from an hour time frame. This can be easily adjusted. We have 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, all the way up to, so many different options. So again, make sure that we are looking at this from an hour time frame. Basically, what that means is that every candlestick that you see here represents a 1 hour time period. Okay, so now that we have our 1 hour time frame, we have our targeted asset. Now what we want to start looking for are opportune market areas in order to place trades, in order to capitalize the best trades possible, because that means more money in our pockets, right? So this is actually the current price range of the US dollar Swiss franc that we are looking at. And as you can see, there's really no clear indication if the market is going up or if the market is going down. We have absolutely no idea. And the reason why, guys, because as you can see, this market is moving sideways. It's going up and down in various ways, but it's moving in horizontal areas. So this would not be an ideal market structure to trade in. Absolutely not, guys. All right. So again, what we want to look for are clear indications of upwards or downward trends. But if we go back just to give you some examples, this is actually a great example of an upward trend. All right. And what is an upward trend anyway, guys? Well, an upward trend is just basically a period of time where the market, or the value of, in this case, US dollar CHF, is going up and rising in value, right? Now, an example of a downward trend will be something like this, right? So this is a clear example of a downward trend because the value is clearly going down for a long period of time. So these are the ideal conditions that you want to trade, regardless of what asset you're looking at. This is just for the USD CHF, but this is just this is the type of conditions that you want to look for. Okay, guys? So when you're in an upward trend, actually, before I get into that, let me just clarify, guys, for those of you who don't really understand how to identify trends, I actually created a very simple and easy to follow tutorial on trend identification, especially for beginners. Like I said, we like to create videos that are more targeted for beginners who are new. So that way we're not trying to throw in so many terminologies that could just blow your mind and, just confuse you even more. We try to keep things as simple as possible. So if you're not really sure how to identify trends or trend analysis or how to mark trends, we created this video, and I'll leave it to your, I'll leave the link down below so that way, you can watch it anytime, okay? But again, this is a clear indication of an upward trend. Now, when we are using this strategy, you can see that in addition to all of these little, indicators and markers all around, we also have this blue line, all right? So this blue line is very powerful. This comes in as a key role to use in this strategy. So this is what is referred as a moving average, right? But in this case, it's a 50 moving average, okay? And basically the rule of thumb when you're using this strategy or this indicator is that you want to identify upwards and downward trends. And when you have the market, right, this is the market, the candlesticks, when the market is above the moving average, we are looking at an upward trend, right? Clear as day, we can see that right here. But when the market is below the moving average, we're looking at a downward trend, all right? So again, these are the ideal conditions that you want to look for when you're trading with this strategy and the way that I'm explaining it to you in this video, okay? So using the upward trend, right, as our example, when we're in an upward trend, we're in a buyer's market. And when we're in a buyer's market, we want to look for trades for a buy trade, right? We want to look for buy trades, not sell trades. You want to go with the trend. So in this case, we want to go for buy trades. Remember, guys, the trend is your friend until it bends, right? So always follow the trend. Never go against it. especially if you're new, because granted, like I said, there are various ways you could trade this. You can see there are various indicators for selling trades, which you can do, but that is more recommended when you understand more in depth about this indicator and other methods of trading and things like that. So again, for this video, we're just going to keep it simple. We're in a buyer's market. We want to go with the trend. We want to look for buy trades. Okay, guys? So when we see something like this, let's pretend that we are in this market right now. We're in this area of the USD CHF and we're looking for a way to, enter for a trade. All right. So let's actually cut some of this off here. All right. Let's use the replay feature for a moment just to kind of get a live visual of how this market is going to move and how it comes into play when using this strategy. So let's cut it off. I don't know. Let's say here. All right. So at this point, this is where we've come in. We're looking at this and we see this nice, the start of an upward trend. You can see that these candlesticks are forming far above the moving average. And again, when the market's above the moving average, we're looking at an upward trend, right? So of course, now what we want to look for or wait for is that indicator telling us to enter a buy trade. Okay, guys? So check this out, right? Market's moving, candles are fluctuating. We have new high points, and now look at that. Now we have a buy notification. All right. So again, this is what the indicator tells us. It tells us when to enter these trades. So now what I'm going to do is put a vertical line right here to mark where this buy candle had initiated. We can call this our trigger candle. Okay. Now the reason why we're marking this, guys, is because we are still in the 1 hour time frame, but we want to use the 5-minute time frame to actually enter the trades. Okay. So we're using the 1 hour time frame to identify trading positions, but we're using the 5-minute time frame to actually enter that trade. Okay, so let's go to the 5-minute time frame. And as you can see, right, this is the trigger candle where we had identified for a buy trade, guys. Okay, and again, this is all according to the indicator that told us that this is where we need to go. All right. Now, when we are entering a buy trade, we have to look for confirmation that the market is above the moving average. And as you can see, the market is above the moving average line. So this right here will be our entry point. Okay, this is where we enter the trade. But before we mark that area, I do just want to give you a quick example. If let's say you're looking for a buy trade, but the candlesticks are below the moving average. All right, so let's just give you a quick example on that. Right, so let's just redo this. So let's say we're over here, right? This is our trigger candle. And let's say the market was still below the moving average line. And we're still looking for a buy trade. This is what we would do, guys. All right. This is what we would do. We would wait. We don't want to rush into entering that buy trade because remember, the market is still below the moving average line. We want to wait for it to cross and close above the moving average line, and that's where we would enter our call trade, all right, our buy trade. So let's wait. We wait over here, still hovering, but it's getting close, right? And then boom. Now it crossed, right? It crossed over, it closed above the moving average. So this would be our entry level. So that's an example of entering a trade for a buy trade if you're looking at a 5-minute time frame and the market is still below the moving average. You want to wait for it to cross over and close above, and then you enter that trade at the opening of the following candle. So this would be our entry level, right? So now what we're going to do is identify our stop loss and take profit values, all right? And again, this is referred as 20 pips and dip, guys. So what we want to do is capitalize on 20 pips and cash out, right? So we're going to use the long position graph over here. This is going to be our entry level. We'll drag this across, and we're simply going to adjust it until we reach 20 pips. There we go, around 20 pips, there it is. And then for our stop loss, we're also going to target 20 pips, all right? Because for this strategy, guys, what we're looking at is a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, all right? So you can see here, using this little tool, the middle level over here is our entry level. This is where we're entering the trade. And why do we enter this trade? Because the candlestick closed above the moving average line to confirm that we are looking for a buy trade. Our stop loss is the red over here, which is 0.096856. Take profit at 0.97267, all right? Now let's see what happens. Let's see what happens as the trade goes along, right? Fluctuates, keeps going. It's remaining above the moving average. Drops down a little bit, but that's okay. And then boom, look at that. This right here would have been our take profit. We would have been in the money for 20 pips, okay? Now, how long did it take for it to reach this level from the point of our entry to this? That was about 1 hour and 5 minutes. 1 hour and 5 minutes, we collected 20 pips in profits. Not bad. Remember, because we are identifying our take profits and stop loss values, right? These trades are running its course. So we don't have to just sit here and monitor these trades. We can look for other possible entries, all right? Now let's do another one. Let's do another example. All right, let's go back to the 1 hour time frame, right? Let's get rid of this. Let's find another opportune moment. All right. Now keep in mind, guys, that again, when we're looking for trades, we are back at the 1 hour time frame. All right. Very, very important. We're using the 1 hour time frame, the larger time frame, to identify, trigger candles to enter the trade, and then we use the 5 minute time frame to actually find the place to execute that trade. Okay, guys. So we're waiting for more trade entries here, and market's still fluctuating. It's still respecting that upward trend where the market still remains above that moving average, right? Keeps going. All right. Now, look at this. Now we have another trigger candle here for a buy trade, all right? Again, we're looking for buy trades because we are in an upward trend and we want to go with the trend, not against it, guys, right? So what I'm going to do is grab my vertical line here and just mark that trigger candle for where that indicator was for a buy trade. And remember that these points, these trigger points that tell you where to buy or sell or trade, are provided for you by the indicator itself, guys. So it literally tells you where to enter these trades. So once you see a point like this, what you want to do, well, actually what I like to do is put this little vertical line so that way I can easily identify this point when we go to the 5 minute time frame, because now we need to go to the 5 minute time frame to actually enter that trade. Okay, guys? So let's just zoom this in a little bit so that we have a much better view of what's happening here. All right, so this is the 5 minute time frame. This right here is the vertical line. This is our trigger candle, right? So once we have identified, depending on where you had identified that candle, we would be somewhere at this level. All right, now let's say that we found it a little bit late, right? So now you can see that market went up above the moving average, but now has traveled below. Remember, since we are looking for a buy trade, we're looking for we want to make sure that the price goes back up and closes above the moving average line before we enter the trade. And the reason why we do this, guys, is because we don't know what's going to happen. Let's say if we are in this market right now looking at this and this is happening live, we don't know where the market's going to go. It can continue, to go down in a downward trend. We don't know that. We don't know what's going to happen. But what we want to do is make sure that it goes back up, right? So we want to wait for the candlestick to cross and close above the moving average. So let's see what happens. All right. Remember, we're still in the 5 minute time frame. All right. Getting close. So it's crossed, right? But it didn't fully close. Look at this, guys. Look, see? It crossed, but it didn't fully close above the moving average line. It kind of closed on top of it. And we don't want that because, again, we want to have a clear confirmation that we are still in a buyer's market, okay? So check this out. It's struggling. It's starting to push. And then boom, this would be our trigger candle right here to actually enter the trade. Because as you can see, it closed above the moving average line. Okay, so this would be, all right, let's just zoom in a little bit. This would be our entry level. So what we'll do is grab our little tool to predict, to calculate our take profit and stop loss. So let's drag this across here, guys. So first off, let's pull this up, set it to 20 pips. This is going to be a little bit of a bigger, all right, 20 pips would be right here. All right, and 20 pips stop loss, let's just do that here, would be about here, okay? All right, so stop loss would be 0.97081. Take profit would be 0.97489. Okay, guys? So let's just drag this across a little bit. Now let's see what happens. Let's play this out. All right, fluctuating. Check this out. Look. Boom, look at that. It just crushed and smashed our take profit level. Now, granted, some trades could last a lot longer. Some trades could last a lot faster. I mean, some trades can run for as, half hour, an hour as our last example. But in this case, this trade lasted a little bit longer. Was this like about 2 hours, 3 hours? Let's see. So about 2 hours and 40 minutes this trade lasted. But think about it, guys. You're setting trades. You're using this powerful strategy where it's calculated for you where to enter your trades, but it's also helping you to identify your take profits, your stop losses, and then that's it, guys. So that right there is another 20 pips in profit in your pocket within the same upward trend. Now, let's do a different one. Let's do a downward trend example. So let's close this. All right, let's start over again. Let's remove all indicators. Well, I should say drawings. All right, let's try to clean this up a little bit. Okay, so here we have a nice example, guys, of a downward trend market. All right, now remember, when the 50 moving average is above the market, we are looking at a downward trend. We are looking at a seller's market, and we want to look for sell trades. Okay, so let's say we are looking at this area over here. We've entered the market, and this is where it is currently fluctuating in price. So let's get our replay tool again. All right, and let's mark it, let's say over here. All right, marking it over here. We're looking at it. We can see that price is starting to drag down, right? We're below the 50 moving average line. So again, we are indicating, or I should say, this is a clear indication that we are headed in a downward trend, because you can also tell from the gap between the market and the 50 moving average. All right, now we already have a selling position here, but let's say we missed it, time went by, so we don't want to take the risk. We want to wait for another position, another indicator telling us to sell before we enter a trade. So let's see what happens. All right, market continues to fluctuate. All right, and perfect. Now we have another trigger candle for a sell. And again, why are we looking for a sell trade? Because we are below the 50 moving average. So we're going to grab our vertical line. We're going to mark that trigger candle, and now we're going to go to the 5-minute time frame. Okay, so let's zoom in. As you can see, market is clearly below the 50 moving average. This is perfect. This is the confirmation that we are looking for to enter a sell trade. Okay, guys. So if we were to enter, let's say right here, right? Let's make this our entry point, right? So let's say we decide to enter right here. Let's drag this across. We do 20 pips stop loss, 20 pip take profit for a sell trade right about there. All right, guys. So let's see what happens. Price fluctuates, breaks through the moving average line in an upward direction, but that's okay. Price continues to go back down, and boom, we capitalize and we hit our target for 20 pips in profits. And there we go. The trade closes, and we're already 20 pips in profit, money in our pocket. All right. So now we've collected profits. Let's look for another trading position. We'll go back to the 1 hour time frame. Clean this up here. All right. Close this, and let's see if we can find another position. All right, price fluctuates, boom, we have another sell indicator. We have another trigger candle indicating a sell position. So now let's put our vertical line right here on the trigger. All right, and again, we go back to the 5-minute time frame. Now here's something interesting. You can see that depending on where you actually found that trigger candle for that sell trade, depending on where you found that, guys, or when you found it, I should say, you can see that in a 5-minute time frame, the market is hovering directly on top of the moving average. So if we were, let's say, over here, right, what we want to do is wait for this candle to break through, right? And we want confirmation of a trade of a candle opening and closing below the moving average, because that is our confirmation to enter a sell trade. Okay, guys? So if you were hovering on that, you would wait for this candle and then you would enter your trade. But let's say we found it right at this point where we have this nice long red candle. Let's just make this our entry candle for this example, right? Looking for a short position. Let's say we entered right here. Do 20 pips, which is around this level for stop loss. 20 pips take profit, which is around this level here. All right. So let's see what happens. And remember, guys, these strategies are not perfect. You know, when I say how powerful this indicator is, it really is from what you can see. But I'm not saying that this is going to win every single trade all the time. But when you use it correctly, you'll see that more times than none, the most of the trades that you use using this indicator, you're going to have more winning trades in your pocket than losses. All right, guys? And oh, we're getting close there, getting close to the take profit. I think it reached. Did it reach right there? Yep. So there we have it, guys. Now it reached our take profit level for a sell trade. So in this case, this trade took about what? If we entered here, about 2 hours and 50 minutes. So almost 3 hours. But you know what? When you're using a strategy like this, it doesn't matter, guys, as long as you end up in a winning trade position, that is more money in your pocket. So that is the basics of using this strategy, guys. It is extremely powerful. It tells you exactly where to enter your trades. Remember that you use the 1 hour time frame to identify where you're going to enter your trades, and then you zoom into the 5-minute time frame so that way you can actually execute and find your entry level. So you're probably wondering, how do I get my hands on this indicator? Well, guys, this indicator is actually exclusive only to members in our trading group. All right. Now, if you don't know what our trading group is, guys, this is a trading group that allows beginner traders, even if you've never traded before, to learn how to trade, but also make money at the same time. And the way that this is possible is that you have access to so many resources for not only learning, but again, making money by trade alerts. You have live sessions. You can get trade alerts sent to your phone, so that way you can just copy trades that are sent to, your mobile device or whatever. Just copy that information onto your broker. This group is amazing, guys, and it is ideal for beginners who want to learn but also succeed and make money through the global markets. And in addition to all these features that you'll have access to, you'll also gain free access with no charge added to this particular indicator. If you want to learn more, if you want to get your hands on it, feel free, drop a comment, let me know. Check out all the information down below in the video description so that way you can join our group, gain access to all of our amazing features, and of course the 20 pip and dip indicator. I hope you found this video helpful, guys. And again, if you have any questions, drop a comment, let me know, email me directly, and I'll see you next time.